Bitterness is the Death Star exhaust port. It's the weakness that can bring down a strong relationship. And so when we have this weakness, we have this bitterness in our lives, Satan can come in and he can wreck a marriage that is strong because of that bitterness, because it's given him an opening. It's made a gap in our defenses. That's how marriages that seem so impenetrable have been wrecked, how lifelong friendships have unraveled. It's bitterness. That's the weakness. So he says, don't let the sun go down upon your wrath. Don't become bitter and resentful, because it will give a place to the devil. Some of you, your relationship has been most directly affected by your addiction, but your addiction is spurred by your resentment. The reason that you're an addict is because this resentment has given Satan an open door, a place where he can come in and give you temptation. Some of you, you're most directly affected in your relationships by your financial problems, but your finances are a mess because you shop to distract yourself from the low-grade anger that you're always feeling. Some of you, your relationship is most directly affected by a lack of communication, but you don't communicate because it's hard to communicate without it boiling over into this argument, because you have this anger that is just constantly at high heat. Resentment may not be the most obvious problem your marriage is experiencing, but it is likely the initiator of many problems affecting your friendships, your marriage, because it opens the door to attack. It's the fundamental fatal flaw that opens up the door so Satan can bring in all of these other temptations. And many times the other temptations and the other failings, that's what we see, but it's bitterness and resentment that gave Satan the opening to bring these temptations into our life. And until resentment and bitterness is dealt with, you'll continue to experience this temptation and these setbacks, because that's the open door. Some of you, what needs to happen in your life, in your relationships, is that you need to change the locks on your heart. Years ago, you gave Satan the key by being bitter and resentful. And he comes in and he does all kinds of damage. He ransacks your life. And it's like someone who's given a key to a thief, and they come home every day and their house has been ransacked and anything nice has been taken. So they work hard to put everything back in its place. They work hard to clean it up. But then the next day, it's all ransacked again. Instead of working so hard all the time to fix all of this stuff, change the locks so that he no longer has access. Some of you have a bitterness and resentment that has given Satan a key to your heart, that all he has to do is bring up a name or face, and you think about all those things that they did, what was said about you, what they did to you all those years ago. And he comes in and he turns everything upside down, and you work hard to put it all back together, but it's going to happen again just as soon as he brings that name back up, and you feel that resentment and bitterness once more. Resentment and bitterness gives Satan the key into your life to come and do his worst. Change the locks on your heart by getting rid of resentment.